This review is gonna require a little beer.
This review is not paid for or sponsored by Asahi Limited.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Build Fighters Chinagguy. Yeah, that's fun. So I could have just passed on this kit and not got it and not reviewed it for you guys, but I wanted to get this in review for you guys because number one, it looked better than the Fumina, and I think it is. If definitely in some ways, there's definitely one at least while I was building the kit, there was one very noticeable improvement, and that is in the ankle joints. The ankle joints on the Fumina kit were like polycap material, if I remember correctly. Anyway, the ankle joints on the Fumina kit basically did not move at all, and they were completely worthless. But on this kit, they're harder plastic, and they actually work well. So that was one thing that was at least an improvement on this kit. Some people have been noticing or saying, I've seen people say that they think the face looks a little bit better on this one than the Fumina. That to me, it looks pretty much the same. I mean, I didn't mind it that much. A lot of people like really hated how bad the face looked on the Fumina. I thought it was not terrible. It looks doesn't look very exciting, but I feel basically the exact same about this kit. But anyway, overall, I do feel like this kit is a little bit better. It's definitely still going to require some work, I think, for it to be like really its best. But if you're a big fan of Chinagguy, this is not a bad option. But it's interesting, so we'll take a look at it. As always, just want to say a huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for supplying me with the kit. If you guys want to check this kit out or anything else, you can use that ZakuAurelius 10 coupon code. That's all down below in the description for the video. Use that over on their site to save 10%. So this kit, just speaking of the price, I guess, and speaking of saving money, the list price is 2,200 yen, if I remember correctly, for this kit, same as the Fumina kits, and that's not bad, but I think it definitely could maybe be less. I think 1,800 yen is probably enough for this. I kind of wonder how much of that cost is going into like the different plastic materials using for this, because there's like a couple different hardnesses of plastic in this. Unfortunately, that white plastic for the frilly parts on the shoulders and the front is still that same soft plastic like with the Super Fumina. That's just awful, and it's just really impossible to remove the nubs cleanly on that. And I don't wonder if there's like any way that you really could do that nicely. I don't know, it's really hard though. You basically have to work with a super sharp knife and cut it really cleanly, because you just can't sand that plastic at all. And then that all the red plastic is kind of softer as well. It's not quite as soft, but it's kind of like somewhere in between there, so I feel like that's probably not going to sand very well either. So I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, but yeah, that's not great. So basically, if you're a fan of the glasses for this kit, then I got bad news for you, because either of the two glasses options that you get with it aren't really that great. So as you can see, I've got the eye stickers on there, just looking forward. If you remember from the unboxing, you do have a lot of different options here for the eyes, but basically it's just looking forward and looking to the left and looking to the right, and then you have the option of using the kind of these stickers here to make the eyes and kind of eyelashes. I guess that would kind of be separate. I don't really quite understand why. I guess that will actually make those like extend onto the head a little bit more, so probably should have used those, I guess, but didn't. Anyway, so you can just paint the eyes as well. The eyes do have molded detail, which you can see on this part here. You actually have two sets of eyes. You have one that is set in a little bit more, they're set in a little bit deeper, and that's this one, which I haven't used because you're meant to use these and then put these little clear pieces on top of there, so I haven't cut those out or anything yet. I probably actually won't use these at all. That's just supposed to help you give the eyes some depth. So you have the other those which are set in a little bit deeper to compensate for the clear parts, or these which are just kind of normal and just like level with the face there. So they've done a pretty good job of hiding the seam lines on the hair. There's really only this little one there you can see kind of behind the ear, and that's pretty hideable as just a thing of hair there. I think you could probably get away with not doing anything about that seam line there on the top. That's just a mold line that I was sanding there on the top there a little bit. For the headband, you have two options. You have that one, which is the bear ears, and then you have this one, which you have a pink sticker for, but it's actually a piece that's molded in the same color as the hair, but you're meant to put this pink sticker over the top of that, and the pink doesn't match the bow or the glasses. And just looking at the manual, I guess that's right. I guess it's not supposed to match, but for some reason I was thinking it was supposed to. But looking at the manual here, you'll see the glasses are actually supposed to be a darker red, which they definitely are not. But we do have our different option for the glasses, which are these. Now these are basically if you want to actually have like glass in there. So this is just one piece of solid clear plastic, and then you have that pink sticker to go over the top of it. So the color is not right, and that sticker just looks so bad, so ridiculous. So I don't know if you really wanted to paint these. I guess what I would recommend probably is getting some liquid mask, putting some liquid mask over like the part that you want to stay clear. Would probably be the easiest thing, probably easier than using masking tape. But you'd have a couple options there. Getting back to the articulation, the head will only go up to there, so basically looking straight, but it can look down, that's not a problem, and then side to side, all of that, and then the glasses just come off. I guess I could show you the face without the glasses on. There you go, if you want to have it without the glasses. It does look a little bit odd now, but I actually kind of prefer it like that, so probably ultimately I'll just have the glasses off, but then you'll have this little kind of square bit out of the hair that's going to look a bit odd, so you'll probably have to fill that in with putty. That's what I'll have to do anyway with mine. In the shoulders, you have this joint here which pops out like that, so that actually swings forward like so a little bit, and you can move the arm up like that to there and forward, but it's just gonna look odd if you have any sort of a gap there. So basically you're gonna only gonna be able to move this like rotating forward and back so as not to make any gap between the body and the arm and ruin the look of that. At the elbow you can rotate that a little bit, but it's a little bit stiff. I really feel like I'm in danger of breaking or bending some of that plastic in there, because that plastic does also seem a little bit soft in there. You can bend that, but just because of the shape of this, you're like not even able to get a 90-degree bend out of that, at least with this big bear hand on. And then here, the most egregious stickers is these little white stickers that go over the little kind of bear claws, I guess those are supposed to be, of that. No weapons of any kind, so nothing you can actually stick in that little hole there. But I think you could probably get creative and find something to put in there if you want this. Alright, moving on. To the stomach section here, you can move that a little bit, but again, creating any sort of gap in there is just kind of deter from the look of that, so probably you want to avoid that as much as possible. This ribbon on the back here is just on a ball joint, so this can move around, and then these little ribbon trails here are also on ball joints, so those can move around. This isn't like again a softer plastic, and there is a seam line through the ribbon, and moving it around tends to make that to come apart because it's that softer plastic. It doesn't really seem to be as strong to hold together, so you're definitely going to want to use some glue on that. Whether you remove the seam line or not is up to you, but definitely recommend putting on some glue just to keep that ribbon together. The backpack is kind of odd how sort of slightly mechanical it looks compared to the rest of the kit, but here's where you can plug up the action base that is included with the kit into the backpack there. The bottom of the base is just this kind of standard base that we've seen in many kits, but the top part is new, it's special for this kit. It has the little cutout hearts and plus signs in there, so that makes it a little bit more unique. Like the Super Fumina one also, I think, had stars cut out of it or something like that. It was special, so anyway, this one's red and works fine, but we'll come back to that. Here in the legs, this is another part that I would definitely recommend gluing, whether you remove the seam line or not, is because when you're moving the legs around, this part, as you may have noticed earlier when I just had the kit standing, was already coming apart. This tends to come apart very easily. These parts around the top of the leg, if you just bust those parts off, you do have some just kind of regular panties there underneath these sort of like shorts. If that matters to anyone, I don't know if it does, so just letting you guys know anyway. But with these kind of big puffy shorts on there, you really can't separate the legs out at all. You're really gonna go like this, and those are gonna start to break off. But you can rotate the leg there where the kind of skin tone meets the white part here. You can rotate the leg, and then you can get a double bend in the knee. You can get a nice full bend there, but again, just seam lines you're definitely going to want to get rid of to keep any sort of organic look to this at all. The boots, this kind of top of the boot is just kind of like floating there, and I actually think I have mine on backwards. I think I have one on the wrong foot, or just it's on here backwards or something. Let me just turn that around. I think that's right, or maybe it was right the other way. I don't know. But yeah, the ankles actually work a lot more. You can actually move those and they stay in position. You can point the foot down and up and side to side, and they actually work quite well, which is nice because the Fumina kit basically couldn't stand on its own. Although it did include a stand, it was just a little bit annoying. So other option parts, you have just regular arms. Now you have one of these for the left and the right side, and then you have the option of just these open hands, or you do have holding hands, goodbye, if you want to actually hold on to some weapons or something. Again, it doesn't come with anything, but you can get creative. So just pull off the bare arm and just replace that, and there you go. Now you've got just a regular arm. Hi. And the final accessory is the bear head. So it's obviously just a kind of modified bear head. Kind of similar to what the heads look like for the Chinagguys, but is a little bit different anyway. So this very simply just kind of fits around the head and just pop that on. It's easy as that. And there you go, now it's got a bear head. So yeah, I suppose there's a fair amount of different accessories and options that you get with this kit. I think probably more than the Fumina in a way, just because you have the different arm options, you have different glasses options, different headband options, different head, if you want to have the bear head on there or not, and the fact that you get a stand. I think it does come with a fair amount of stuff. Probably most people would have liked for this to come with some sort of weapon, I suppose, although the bear guy-san, I mean, doesn't have any sort of weapons, so really shouldn't be that that surprising. But for me, I think it would have been nice if it would have come with some sort of handheld something. I mean, even if it's not a weapon, I don't really know what else it could be, but I don't know, I guess. But this is mainly, I think, not for people who are really wanting to make robots, but kind of just, it almost seems like kind of a doll in a way, I guess, just because of the different options just being like basically different like clothing options sort of things, like also like, or like accessory options, not so much like option parts like we normally tend to think of them in our hobby. So although the kit has a fair amount of different kind of options, I guess, for it, different ways you can dress it up, basically, for lack of a better word, one thing that it definitely lacks is posing options. I think basically it can do a couple of poses and look okay, but basically any kind of other pose you're going to be doing with it, you're just going to be making unsightly gaps and things like that. And like I said, there's a lot of seam lines that you're going to have to work on with this kit. And it's just going to be really limited in like the posing that you can do with it and it looking good. So probably what I'll end up doing with this is just making it fixed posed, just fill in the gaps and just make it a fixed pose kit, so that's just going to be stuck in one position. That way I can fill in all those gaps and have it look kind of decent. I don't know, we'll have to see how it goes, but anyway, that's kind of my biggest complaint about it. Even if you're not wanting to make a fixed pose, I would say you definitely have, I would definitely recommend putting in some work on removing some of the seam lines on this kit just to make it look a little bit better. And also that soft white plastic for the white frilly parts. Why? I just don't get it. Why? There's no reason for it to be that soft white plastic. There's really no reason for that at all. I just really don't understand it. I mean, I guess the reason would be because those parts need to flex and need to bend, but they really don't. And they're not in the way of anything. There's really no reason at all for those white parts to be soft plastic. I just don't get it. It's just annoying. But all in all, I mean, I'm not disappointed with the kit by any means, just because I pretty much knew what to expect from this. I knew to basically expect it to be a kit that is interesting, but ultimately going to require a lot of work, and that's kind of my feelings about it. I really feel like I'm just nowhere near funny enough to have pulled off this review for you guys, so sorry about that. This review really should have just been much funnier than it was, but hopefully this information was at least helpful for you guys. And if you guys want funny reviews, I think there's other reviewers that are much funnier than I. I can already see all the comments now. Oh, when is Bandai gonna stop making these? Oh, these kits are horrible. They look terrible. Bandai's just trying to compete with Kotobukiya's Frame Arms Girls line. Frame Arm Girls are so much better. Yeah, I think we can all pretty much agree on that, and that's pretty well common knowledge, I suppose. But if you're a really big fan of China, or you really like the look of this, then go ahead and get it. If you don't, then you can probably just ignore it, and you're probably not even watching to the end of this review. So that's pretty much what I gotta say about this. It's an interesting kit. I know the Hyper Gyanko just recently came out. I'll be reviewing that for you guys soon, so stay tuned for that. I have hopes that that one will be better than this. I definitely like Gyanko as a character much better, so that will definitely improve my feeling about the kit, I'm sure. So in the meantime, anyway, thank you guys as always for watching. Leave any questions or comments down below. I'm sure you'll have some comments to share, so I'll look forward to hearing from you guys on that. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.